Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Board Masters with me, Chris Mullins, and today I will be reviewing Minecraft Builders and Biomes from Ravensburger. And this follows on from our family gameplay last week, which I will link down below if you want to check that out, because it's one of Alex's new favourites, and I'm surprised to say it's actually becoming one of mine, because I really didn't think I'd enjoy this, but we'll dive into why I did in just a moment. As ever with my reviews, I'll follow the same 5 categories as always, so go through art style and theme, and component quality, accessibility, replayability, and gameplay. And so diving in with the art style and theme, I mean, obviously with the theme, it's Minecraft. It's based on the video game, a video game that I have no interest in. Obviously, I'm very well aware of it. Alex loves it, always trying to get me to play it, and it just does not do anything for me at all. So that's a large part of why I was dreading playing this game in a way. I bought it for him to try and engage him in the hobby as much as possible. And yeah, I guess coming from video games, you're always aware of those low quality licensed cash-ins that you see, and you know, board games are no stranger to that either, so I had very little doubt that this was going to be one and the same thing. But I was wrong, thankfully. In terms of the art style, obviously it's Minecraft, so it's all very blocky. It's all different sort of textures and Minecraft blocks and everything, but whereas in the video game I don't really like it at all, in this I'm surprised how nice it looks and how much I like it and how much it complements the gameplay really, really well. I really didn't think I would like the art style. I mean, the cards of the biomes and buildings are really nice. I mean, the enemies are a bit bland with the backgrounds and things, but other than that, I think the art style, which owes obviously to being a Minecraft IP game, benefits the game. It's distinctive, it looks good, it's not an art style you're going to see very often. And again, I'm going to say it a lot through this video, but I am surprised how much I like it. Going on to the components, obviously it's a £25 to £30 game, so it's not going to be outstanding. You've got these cute little standees, and these blocks are really cool. Obviously they're just wooden blocks that are painted different colours to represent the different elements, but having them there and taking them from this initial cube and then using them to build your buildings adds a really nice tactile feel to the game, and it feels like you're actually genuinely building something, which really helps. I mean, these are good quality cardboard. The boards are a bit flimsy and they can be a bit tricky to get out the board, particularly if they're out the box, particularly when they're at the bottom, because they seem to fit quite snugly and you've got to tip the box over to get them out. But that's a pretty minor quibble, really. In general, good but not great, I would say, for the components. But yeah, for the price point, you get what you pay for, really. It's fine, nothing wrong with it. And in terms of accessibility, as I mentioned a moment ago, the price point is reasonable. £25 to £30 you'll comfortably get this game for. And yeah, that is a good price, I think, in my opinion. It's easy to find in retail. It's not a game that is only available in 1 or 2 select areas or is out of print regularly. It is quick Google search and it'll have multiple options of where to get it from. In terms of the setup, it does take probably 5-10 minutes to get it set up, largely because of this. I mean, you can just pour the bricks in because it's got like a template, and then as long as you've got someone holding it or you don't pour them all in at once, you can get this set up pretty quickly. And these just need a shuffle and then placing around to make the table, and obviously the weapons dealing out. But yeah, 5-10 minutes, it's not too bad. Even quicker if you've got other people helping. In terms of teardown, it's a lot quicker because again, you're just throwing these in a bag, you're just piling these up and they go back in the box. Unfortunately, there's no storage solution in the box, so it does all just get bundled in, but there is baggies for the bricks and the standees and the weapon cards. It's just the boards sit in the bottom of the box and these sit in a pile throughout. And you know, it is a longer than expected setup teardown time for a game of probably this weight and cost, but Generally on our playthroughs, I think we average about 45 minutes, so a game that takes 10-15 minutes to set up and put away compared to a 45-minute playtime, I'm quite happy with that ratio. In terms of learning the game, it's a little tricky to get your head around at first, in terms of all the different rounds and how the scoring works and how the special weapons work and things, but it's not hard to learn. Once you've read it a couple of times and tried it on the table, it makes a lot of sense and it flows really nicely. And they have the iconography on these scorecards, which tallies up to the iconography on the actual board, and everything just makes sense. I mean, again, the iconography goes across the actual game board there, so it's pretty self-explanatory once you get going. Once you know what the icons mean, you don't need the rulebook again, because you just work your way through it, basically. And yeah, easy to learn, hard to master, I would definitely say on this one. And that takes me into the replayability. And there is loads of replayability with this one, because everything is different. Apart from your starting hand of like weapons, which are color coded, so you always have the same weapon loadout when you start. There are 4 different boards, all with different layouts, which present a different puzzle each time. There are 64 of these cards that go down in 16 piles, so once you shuffle them, the cards that are going to come out in those piles are going to be different every time. The way people uncover those tiles is going to be different every time. There are 3 rounds of scoring, so in the first round you are looking at the biome, so whether it's a mountain card or a frozen tundra or desert or plains, and you know, each one has a different point value. So plains are the cheapest points, but they're the easiest to get. So do you focus on those? And you also start with more plains on your starting board, so it's easier to make a longer chain of those biomes. So do you want to go for those? But then in the first couple of rounds, people explore and a bunch of frozen tundra cards come up. So do you pivot and then go for the frozen tundra, even though they're more expensive, but they give you more points? It's like that. And then the second round, it's about the material of the houses. So you know, you can get, this one's made of wood as well as this one, so although they're different backgrounds, they're now contributing to the same scoring. So in the first round, although you might be trying to get all of your plains biomes, are you getting buildings of other biomes because the building materials complement for round 2, or because the type of building, like a farm or a decoration or a bridge, they get you the points in the third round. So again, how much foreplanning are you putting into it? If you're going for the quick, easy wins, are you then trying to get as many blocks off of here as quick as you can? Because the first round of scoring ends when the first layer's gone, second round of scoring when the second layer's gone, third round when the third layer's gone. So are you trying to clear those layers to get into the scoring rounds as quick as you can? So the people who are going for the mountains or the obsidian buildings for the higher points, they don't have as long in those rounds to get those chains together. And is that, I mean, there's so much strategy and it's all randomized. I mean, you have your starting weapon hand, but around the board will be the other weapons that are all randomized. So do you focus on weapons and go and get those? They're going to be different every time. Each game is going to be different. The way these go in are completely random. I think on the playthrough on the channel, so much of the sand was in the bottom 2 layers and in the middle as well. So sand was a really rare resource at the beginning of our game on our playthrough, so that automatically changes your strategy there. There's just so much going on and so much randomization at the setup that as long as you're enjoying it, you can play this game over and over and over and over again. I think it's a really strong scorer on replayability for me. And obviously I've covered aspects of the gameplay with that already, but I'll dive into that a bit more now. And as I've mentioned, there are so many decisions to be making. Do you go all in on the scoring So straight in on your biome, straight in on your buildings, or do you focus on going around the board and getting your weapons to build up your weapons, so then you can take on the enemies, take on the Enderman, the big powerful 6-heart baddies that give you more experience for killing them, and also give you bonuses at the end of the game, or can give you an extra turn, or an extra action rather than an extra turn. It's this constant balance of spinning plates and what you're going to focus on, and what you're always having to pivot and strategize depending on what cards get uncovered. You can be going in one way, and because someone uncovers X, Y, and Z, you can pivot and completely go the other way. And I just love that flexibility of how the game evolves, and how strategic, and you know, you can just go, right, this is biomes, I'm going to go for as many biomes of the same as I can, and then round 2 I'm going to go as many of the same type of material as I can, and you can win that way. You can win just by getting weapons and fighting. You can win by being a bit more strategic and trying to line up combos for later rounds. You can win by just churning through the blocks. There's just so many different ways to go about it, and it genuinely feels to me like whoever wins won because they had the best strategy. Yes, you may get a bit of luck when you're drawing your weapons to fight an enemy, but in general it is player ability that wins the game as much as anything. Although saying that, I've played 4 games of this and lost 3 of them to Alex, so I probably shouldn't say player ability too much, because otherwise I'm being hammered by a 7-year-old, but you know. And pivoting round to what I said at the beginning, I am so surprised how much I've loved this game. I thought it was just going to be a cheap throwaway game with an IP that Alex loves, just to engage him in the hobby and then try and move him on to something else. But to be honest, when he plays it, it makes him want to play the video game. Whereas when I play it, I want to play it more. So I probably try and get this to the table more than he does now, which is, again, a complete 180 to where I imagine this was going to go. So I speak very, very highly of this game. To be honest, as obviously I didn't like the IP, you don't need to like the IP. I don't think you even really need to have kids, because there's so much strategy going on. I think it is a game that would be enjoyable with your friends, with adults, as long as they're willing to overlook the fact that it's Minecraft and just enjoy the core of the game. But that is my review on Minecraft Builders and Biomes. In terms of the score, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. And that was probably the lowest I would go. I was toying with a 9.5. And maybe it is sort of the flimsy quality of those, and that kind of hampers it a bit. And you know, I don't like the theme, although I do like the art style. Some of the art is a bit bland, and it's just little niggles that stop it from reaching the heights of a Too Many Bones or something like that, or a Destinies, which I had no complaints about really. But again, 9 out of 10 for Minecraft is certainly not the score I was expecting to dish out when I bought it. And with that all being said, I'm going to leave the video there. So thank you very much for watching. Look after yourself, stay safe, and have a good one. Thank you. Bye bye now.